What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're doing something very special. We're driving the Nurburgring Nordshleife, and we're doing so in a 2019 Formula 1 car in the Assetto Corsa platform. This is a mod, of course, the mod that I talked about in yesterday's video, the last video that I uploaded. Basically, I couldn't resist, and so here we are once again. The reason why I'm here, of course, is a little old YouTuber called Jimmy Broadbent. You might have heard of him, you might not have, but most likely you did. And basically he did a time trial around here, and he was pretty darn quick. And I personally feel like myself and Jimmy, from what I've observed, we're at a similar kind of level in terms of, I'd say, driver skill level. It's just that his background of racing games is a little bit different to mine, so I want to see how I fare up against him on the same circuit, same track, same car. I said circuit twice. How embarrassing. We're going to see if we can beat his time.
Cross the lines at 5:08.6, about 3 seconds faster than the F1 car from last year. And sorry I didn't talk so much on that lap, but I was really concentrating.
Which was, as you just saw, a 5:08.6. A 5-minute lap time, near on 4 minutes around the Nordschleife is absolutely ridiculous. So I have it all to do. I'm only going to give myself one warm-up lap, and then I'm going to go straight into it. And I'm going to be commentating in the same kind of conditions that he is. So without further ado, let's get the bloody hell out there and see how we can fare. Now, it's worth mentioning that when you live comm, you end up losing a lot of your mental capacity. You're not so focused on what you're doing on the track. Like there, I didn't realize that there was no pit exit there. You lose just the ability to drive on the limits. It's just, you can't do one thing without doing the other, and Jimmy was doing it all the way across the lap. I've done it. I've had a lot of experience with live comming and doing hot laps as well, and I can tell you that it's not easy. So we're certainly going to have our work cut out for us here, but it's going to be an interesting task anyway. Let's build up some speed and see what this car can do. You can see already that this is probably not going to go too well. I've watched a lot of Jimmy's videos, and they're really, really awesome, especially at the Nordschleife. How he's able to hit every single apex without binning it is amazing. There's got to be some elements of holding back a little bit, possibly, just to make sure you get a clean lap in. Whereas I feel like, in order to beat him, I feel like I need to push quite hard, and I'm going to take risks, and I think the majority of them probably won't pull off, so we have to push even more after those mistakes to make up even more time. So this will be an interesting experiment. I personally think I'm not going to beat him. I'm not going to beat him in this one-off run. I need to practice maybe for an hour or maybe even more to fully get into the grips of this circuit. I've done a lot of laps at the Nurburgring, but it was a long time ago since I've done that, and even when I was driving this track regularly, it's still bloody hard to remember every single corner that is coming up, the braking zone, how fast you can go into the corner. I still don't exactly know what I'm doing with this car as of yet, but that's what this outlap is for. But anyway, if I can get anywhere near Jimmy's time, then I'll be happy with that. Within 20 seconds, and that's how much I underrate myself getting near his time. But we'll see. Oh my god, that's a big misunderstanding of how much speed I could take into there. Let's make a mental note of that for next lap. So basically, the expectations are very, very high. This outlap has been diabolical, to say the least. And the next time I come through here, I need to be perfect. What a disaster. What a disaster. Fuck me, I'm not beating this within 2 laps. I'm not beating this within 20 laps. I'm not beating this within 20 years. Case in point. So, as you can tell by the lap counter, we are approaching 10 minutes on this outlap. I am about to potentially try and halve that lap time. Not yet though. Let's go back and make sure we can get a good run to start this next lap because, well, we can. Good thing I didn't make that mistake about 10 seconds later. Alright, here we go. Starting the lap of the Nurburgring Nordshleife. I think we're running the stock setup. Definitely running no assists. I have a suspicion that my KERS, or ERS, whatever you want to call it, is on automatic deployments. It's definitely not on manual, and I'm not deploying it in the areas that I want to. That's a corner cut, but we'll ignore that. That's about as refined as I'm going to get in this attempt. Let's see. Okay, we're definitely not going to beat Jimmy's time. We can already decipher that from the running that I've had so far. But if I can get a 5-minute lap time in, then hey, I will accept that. I will move on and even forget about trying to challenge for the title of world's greatest sim racing YouTuber. Good thing I have some speed here though. It feels nice and handy. I tell you what though, the Nordshleife is amazing when you can get it all right, but when you're frustratingly just bouncing off of barriers, not so fun. We've already used half of our deployment, or over half of that. I have not been pressing the button, so it is 100% no automatic deployment. We're going to keep going. You see, this is the thing about Jimmy's videos that you don't see. He actually does this as well. It's just, he's really good with the editing. So he just smooths it over and adds a little transition with a rewind and makes it look like the crash never happened, essentially. He's a fraud, I tell ya. Fraud. We're gonna go through all of his secrets in this video. You thought this was a nice video. Well, guess what? You can bloody forget about it. We're about to expose him. We're about to do a 4-minute lap time. I've been setting him up. Oh god. What am I even saying at this point? Let's keep going. Moral of the story is, I'm trash. Absolute freaking trash. Car feels very sad over this part of the circuit. You want to cheer up a little bit and give me some revs. Here we go. That's a bit more chirpy. Don't touch that curb, otherwise we will literally turn this car into a bit of a chirper with the trees. I guess we'll get stuck into those a little bit later, maybe on the next lap. Into carousel 1. Let's try and keep in the groove. We've already fallen out. Let's get back in. That's satisfying though. That's really high speed. I shouldn't have used that exit curb. But either way, we will press on. Stay on the circuit. Stay on the circuit. I feel like I need to give myself another lap here. Definitely need to give myself another lap. And a new set of tyres. And a new car. And a new brain. One that's capable of giving me good skills. Come on. Finish it off. Finish it off in style. Up to the line. We're going to get under 7 minutes. Yippee. A 6-minute 51.92. I feel like we've been beaten by some road cars there. Oh dear. This has been another disastrous outlap. I've done far too much mileage than what I'd like to admit. We're now heading on to this last lap. What I hope is going to be my last lap. This has to be the one. I just want to get it in cleanly, and that's all I care about. So let's see what we do. We've started off on the right foot, running wide massively for turn 1. Into here, this feels nice and fast. I love the high-speed stuff in this car. But it's very important not to overdo it. It's so easy to overstep the mark, just ask a little bit too much of the car, and she'll just completely snap on you. That's what I'm trying to avoid on this lap in particular. So we'll see if we can avoid that. That will be a successful lap in my books. Just not crashing, spinning out. So I'm just going to step it back a little bit. Half my problem is I don't have references for a lot of these corners, but It's just like a lot of the high-speed corners that lead into really slow ones. I know there's like a little right kink and then a hairpin coming up here. So we're traditionally stuffed up in the past, but we have survived. That outside curving there is a bit of a bitch, to be honest, but we've negotiated that. That looks like Mount Fuji off to the right, Mount Everest. Why am I getting concerned about... Focus on the road, you dickhead. Focus on the road, Ben, not on your surroundings. And now it's all gone to crap. 6:09.0. Interesting. I had a lot more crashes off camera towards the back end of that lap. Some of which that I'm just like too embarrassed to disclose. But we're going to push again, and hopefully this is the lap. I think this is my 5th lap now, or maybe even 6th lap around the circuit if you count all the out laps as well. But I am determined to get this in. Wasn't expecting to survive that. We got on the grass. What's the yellow thing for? What's that about? I hope that's not fuel. Someone's gonna have to tell me what that was. That did come up briefly in the other video from the other day, but I still to this day don't know what it is. I haven't looked at the comment to that video because, well, I'm recording 2 videos in advance. I'm actually going away this weekend to consequently race with Jimmy Broadbent as my teammates in a 24-hour karting event. Here's Mount Fuji, the place where we died last time. This time, we get through much better. I was going to rejoin from this part of the lap anyway, so we continue the journey. Which way are we going? Yes, this way. Nice to see. Don't lose the back end. From here, I just want to hold it together. I feel like there aren't too many corners that are going to stuff me over, I don't think. Carousel being one of them. Falling out of it is a real possibility for me. We're going to size up this braking zone. Just coming up. I think it's a right-hander. I did a lot of laps around this circuit back in the day on Forza in like a McLaren GTR Longtail. I can honestly tell you it's one of my favorite ever experiences, and I miss it dearly. Here we go, braking zone. Carousel is coming up next. Car is very, very edgy in low-speed corners. So easy to lose it, so I'm just making sure that I don't. Can we stay in carousel? I'm barely even breathing on the throttle. Car barely stays in there. It's almost worth maybe staying around the outside of carousel there just so we can carry more speed and get on the throttle earlier. I'm not too sure. The F1 car doesn't seem to like the undulating nature of that corner. I've missed the apex there. We'll press on. We are still circulating, and that's all I can really ask for. Here we go. This is the fun bit. Clench your butt cheeks. Put your big bravery socks on and just throw the car in and just hope that it's going to stick. Here we go. No! Fuck's sake. I'm a fucking idiot. Where is the rewind button? Where is the rewind button? I can't be asked. I can't be asked. Every time I crash, it's followed up swiftly by another spin. Every single time. We're gonna keep going because I am done with this game, essentially. We're gonna say we lost 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds there, and we're just gonna subtract that off of our lap time and what we could potentially do. Because at this point, I'm just done. This is turning into a Nurburgring 24-hour, basically, where I just try and spend my entire life, my entire weekend trying to set a lap time, which is, you know, what you want to see. Anyway, 2 more corners to negotiate. Actually, the start-finish line is not until after this big boy straight. Open the DRS. We have no ERS or KERS to utilize, so we're just sitting here and basically waiting until we need to brake again. So it's a good chance to have a sip of water, drink a coffee, read a magazine, catch up on Twitter. And then after you've done scrolling through your timeline, following me, turning on notifications, then you can actually brake, Oh no, not yet. Now you can brake for the corner and finish off the lap and retreat back to the pit lane in utter embarrassment at what was supposed to be a competitive video. We are 40 seconds off the man, the myth, legend, Jimmy Broadbent. And with that, I conclude that Jimmy is an absolute freaking hacker.